Okay po, so as continuation po ng ating topic with nervous system, so we will now discussing about yung mga injury with regards or problem with regards to nervous system. So syempre bago natin i-discuss din yung mga injury na yan, so we also discuss yung mga common na common na diagnostic test na ginagawa natin to assess the nervous system function ng isang pasyente. Okay, so sabi nga natin, our central nervous system has layers, which is yung tinatawag natin na meninges. Diba si meninges, siya yung parang, iba yung brain pag binuksan mo, makikita mo yan, diba kulukulubot siya. So, ibig sabihin, yung meninges, siya yun yung parang kulukulubot na yan. And it has layers. So, we have the pia mater, the arachnoid mater, and the dura mater. Where the pia mater, sabi din, rich supply of blood cells. So, ibig sabihin, siya yung nandun sa pagitan ng mismong brain saka nung sa skull. So, which andun nyo po yung mga blood supply na nandun sa mismong patient na, dun mismo sa brain. So, ibig sabihin, dyan po nagkakaroon din ng problem. Ibig sabihin, halimbawa, pumutok yan, yung vessels dyan. So, ibig sabihin, mag-accumulate yung fluid doon mismo sa, or yung blood doon sa brain ni patient. Okay, next naman is si arachnoid matter. So, si arachnoid matter naman, sabi, a web-like structure filled with fluid that cushion the brain. So, ito po siya sa pagitan. And between the arachnoid and pia mater, meron po tayong tinatawag na subarachnoid space. Kasi, ang trabaho po nitong arachnoid matter na yan, so, siya yung nagiging cushion. Kumbaga, parang foam or something na pinipigilan or pine-prevent para halimbawa, pag lumalakad tayo, di ba, nagkakaroon ng movement, hindi uuntog dun sa skull yung ating brain para hindi siya ma-damage. Okay? And the dura mater connects meninges to the skull and vertebral column. So, si dura mater naman, siya daw yung taga-connect ng dalawang yan. So, ibig sabihin, kaya pag nakakaramdam din po tayo, di ba, nasisend din yung mga signals na yan. And sabi nga natin, our brain have 12 cranial nerves. And sabi natin, those 12 cranial nerves that passes from the brain through openings in the skull, or yung tawag natin yung foramen ovale natin, to different areas. Diba? Pwede papunta dun sa neck, sa head, sa chest, sa abdomen. Diba? And also our cranial nerve sends information between the brain and the senses. Diba? Yung kung paano tayo nakakakita, nakakarinig, nakakaamoy, nakakapanlasa. So, naalala po pa buhay yung 12 cranial nerves natin. Diba? For example, olfactory. Ano ba yung function pag olfactory? So, ibig sabihin si olfactory, siya yung may kinalaman on how you smell. Diba? Paano natin naaamoy yung isang mabango, diba? Well, optic, diba? Siya naman yung pag nakakita natin, siya nag-i-interpret. And yung oculomotor, diba? Yung, ano daw yan, yung movement nung eyes natin. So, ibig sabihin, so, any problem with your cranial nerves, diba? Yun yung magiging problem, diba? Paano ba? Facial nerve, diba? Minsan, hindi nagagalaw. Yung pag-smile mo, diba? Parang ayaw gumalaw yung eyes mo, diba? Yung sa neck, diba? Yung hypoglossal, diba? Yung paglunok mo, diba? Yan yung mga problem natin. So, later on, isa-isahin pa po natin yung, kasi between that 12 cranial nerves, meron po yan kakanya-kanyang function. So, merong motor function, may sensory function, or pwedeng both function meron yung mga cranial nerves na yan. Okay, so sabi ko nga kanina, our nervous system is divided into two. We have the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Where the central nervous system composed of your spinal cord and your brain. Diba si spinal cord, siya yung nakakonect dun sa brain, tapos naka-align dun sa ating vertebral column. And your brain has, ano daw yun, tatlong part, diba? The forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. Which the forebrain, ano daw ginagawa? The forebrain process information needed to complete complex cognitive tasks. So, ibig sabihin, yan yung gumagana sa lahat ng mga ginagawa natin. Diba? Halimbawa, paano ka nakakapag-solve ng problem, nakakasagot ng mga exam, diba? And sabi nga natin, your forebrain, this is the largest part of the brain and it is divided into lobes. Di ba, naalala pa kanina, yung discuss natin, yung frontal lobe, which is ginagamit for reasoning, planning, yung mga problem solving natin, di ba? Parietal lobe, di ba, yung kumbaga more on sensory perception naman siya, di ba? Yung feeling of yung touch pag nararamdaman natin, di ba? Yung temperature, di ba? So kung in pain tayo. Well, the temporal lobe, sabi natin, di ba, hearing, memory, di ba, yung mga language comprehension, which is, ano bang area nga doon? Yung Wernicke's area. So, ibig sabihin, if the Wernicke's area is affected, di ba, so, pwede kang magkaroon ng problem with language sa pag-i-interpret ng mga bagay-bagay. Di ba? And the occipital lobe, which is the responsible for vision or visual interpretation natin. So, yan po yung mga lobe that comprises your or brain. Okay, next naman is the midbrain. Sabi natin, midbrain process sounds and sights and works to control eye movement. So, ayan po yung nasa may upper part ng ating brainstem natin. Which is dun, di ba, kasama din po dyan si pons at si thalamus natin. So, this is the smallest, pero siya yung nag-act as parang taga-relay nung mga naririnig natin, nakikita natin, and yung paggalaw po natin ng movement. Diba? Pag may in pain, diba, bakit ka aalis dyan? Okay? Next is the next is the hindbrain. Sabi, responsible for muscular movement, respiration, BP, heart rate, sleep or alertness, and involuntary reflexes, sneezing, yung swallowing natin. So, si hindbrain, yung or mas kilala natin na cerebellum, di ba? Sabi siya yung nasa may occipital part or nasa likod ng part ng brain natin. So, sabi nga natin, nandyan usually yung mga coordination and balance, di ba? Posture, yung fine motor skills, di ba? And yung mga learning, halimbawa, paano ka natuto mag-bike, di ba? Paano mo na i-balance yan? So, dyan siya nagpa-function. Next is the peripheral nervous system, which has somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. So, pag somatic nervous system, it's neurons na gumagana or nagpa-function na bigit motor and sensory, movement and kung paano natin yung nakakaramdam. While the autonomic nervous system, this is the neuron that works to connect to your central nervous system. Ibig sabihin, paano nagsesend yung signal. That's why, yung ating autonomic nervous system, dyan po pumapasok yung sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Which is, sabi natin, di ba, pag sympathetic, this is your fight and flight response. So, ito yung adrenaline rush. Di ba? Bumibilis. Di ba? So, yung adrenaline rush, di ba, yung sometimes nagagawa mo yung isang bagay na hindi mo kayang gawin, di ba, because of the yung nagmamadali ka or because of the sense na kailangan mong gawin yun. Di ba? For example, may sunog. Di ba? Pag may sunog, bigla mong, dahil natataranta ka, gusto mong i-save yung mga gamit mo, di ba? Yung rep na buhat mo mag-isa. Di ba? So, kami nagkaroon dito ng ganyan dati nangyari. Meron akong katrabaho, yung oxygen tank. Di ba? Nabuhat niya. Kasi yung pasyente niya, hirap na huminga, mag-arrest. Yung doon sa station niya, doon sa bedside, walang oxygen tank. Tapos, hindi makita yung trolley. Ba, nabuhat niya yung oxygen tank. Nadala niya dun sa room ng pasyente. Di ba, kabigat-bigat ng oxygen tank? Pero ang problema, nabuhat niya kaso wala naman palang laman. Pero either, kahit walang laman, mabigat pa rin po yung oxygen tank natin. Okay? So, while the parasympathetic nervous system, which is sabi nga natin, repair and repose. Di ba? Ito yung pag-relax, pag-conserve ng mga energy natin. So, kabaliktaran siya nung sympathetic. Kumbaga dyan naman yung pinapakalma yung isang tao. Alright, malinaw po. May question? May clarification? All good? Okay. So, sabi natin, ano naman yan? Di ba? 12 cranial nerves natin agad. Sabi nga, sense information between the brains and the senses natin. So, ayan. So, para mas madali, di ba? Olfactory, sabi ko kanya, smell. Optic, vision. Okay, motor, yung eye movement and pupil reflex. Di ba? Yung pag-contract, pag-constrict and dilate ng pupils natin. And saka galaw din ng eyes. Together with trochlear nerves natin. Di ba? Sa eye movement din siya. Si abducens, di ba? So, puro mga eye yung mga yan. Okay, while the trigeminal nerve is your face sensation in chewing. Sabihin, bakit mo nararamdaman pag hinahawakan mukha mo? Paano ka nakakanguya? Di ba? While the facial is for facial movement and taste. So, ibig sabihin, yung facial expression, yung expression ng mukha mo, dyan, yung facial nerve yung gumagana. And also, paano ka lasa. Well, the vestibulocochlear nerve naman is this for your hearing and balance. Ibig sabihin, pag bingi ka, yan, so ito yung gumagana. Di ba, halimbawa, ito rin yung nagiging problem. May mga, di ba, mayroong mga patient or may mga tao na yung nahihilo, di ba, yung, ano nga tawag ito, yung nagbe-vertigo. So, yan po yung may problem na nerve. Next is glossopharyngeal. So, the throat sensation, yung paano ka lumulunok dyan. Diba? Also with sense of taste, paano mo nalalasahan yung pagkain. Well, the vagus nerve is, for movement, sensation of abdominal organs. And accessory nerve is for neck movement. Diba? Yung paano ka nakakatingin sa kaliwa, sa kanan, taas, baba. Okay? Hypoglossal, diba? Yung tongue movement, di ba? Kaya mo napapagalaw yung dila mo, di ba? Kaya mo nagagamit yan ng bonggang-bongga. Di ba? Pag titikman mo yung pagkain, pagdidila ka ng ice cream, di ba? So, yan po yung ating 12 cranial nerves. And sabi nga natin, yung 12 cranial nerves has different function. It could be sensory, motor, or pwedeng both. Di ba? So, ayan po. So, kung gusto nyo pong natandaan, mas madali makabisado yung 12 cranial nerves. So, we have your mnemonic, sabi natin, O to touch and feel, very good, velvet, heaven, di ba? Yan po ba'y tinuro sa inyo nung nasa anatomy and physiology? O yung naughty version? Alam ba yung naughty version yan? Yung O to touch and feel, a girl's vagina so heavenly. O alin, no? So, kung saan po mas madali sa inyo na makabisado yung mga 12 cranial nerves natin, that's better. And, ayan po yung mga origin, saan siya naka-connect, diba? Si cranial nerve 1 and 2 sa cerebellum, diba? Oculomotor and trochlear, midbrain, diba? Trigeminal, abducens, facial, vestibulocochlear nerve sa pons natin. And, sa medulla naman is glossopharyngeal, vagus nerve, accessory nerve, and hypoglossal nerve natin. Okay? Malinaw po, na-recall na, naalala pa ang 12 cranial nerves. Naalala. Okay. Sige. So, next, spinal cord. Sabi natin, the spinal cord is a long, thin, tubular structure made up of nervous tissue that extend from the medulla oblongata in the lower brainstem to the lumbar region of the vertebral column or yung tinatawag natin na backbone. Diba sa inyo nakikita? So, ito po yung spinal cord. So, dyan siya naka-lie. Dyan siya kumaga nagpo-protect dyan yung spinal cord natin or the vertebral column po natin. Siya nagpo-connect, nagpo-protect dun sa ating spinal cord. And our spinal cord or our vertebral column has, diba, meron niyang different areas. Diba, yung mga bones na nandyan. Diba, we have your cervical bone, diba, from C1 to C7, the thoracic, the lumbar, sacral, and coccygeal. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, yung mga part na yan, diba, ano sabi natin? The center of spinal cord is hollow and contains structure called your central canal, which contains cerebrospinal fluid. And the spinal cord is also covered by meninges and enclosed with neural arch. So, ibig sabihin nyo yung nagko-cover dyan. And tandaan nyo po, yung bawat part ng ating spinal cord is may kanya-kanyang function. Halimbawa, nagkaroon ng injury sa cervical area. So, ano kaya yung pwedeng mangyari kay patient? So, ibig sabihin, pwedeng ma-paralyze yung pasyente. Diba? Kasi, diba, maka-cut down na yung pagsasend ng signal to the lower part of our body. So, kaya mas mataas yung problem or yung injury with regards to spinal cord, mas mas madami yung affected na part ng katawan natin ay pwedeng hindi gumana. Okay, malinaw po? Malinaw. Sige. So, let's now with your diagnostic test. Diba? For nervous system. Ano ba yung mga common diagnostic test na ginagawa natin to assess and to check the problem with our nervous system. So, first is your CT scan or computed tomography scanning. Sabi, this test identifies different tissue in the brain, the skull, cortical tissues, subcortical areas, and ventricles. Sabi sabihin, maa-assess yung brain. Meron bang bleeding dyan? May namamaga? Diba? Meron bang nabarahan na ugat? Diba? Okay, sabi nga daw, okay, identify cerebrovascular accident. Ibig sabihin, yung mga na-stroke. Kasi diba sabi natin, pwedeng ma-identify din using your CT scan if it is ischemic or bleed. Kasi diba yung stroke natin, there are two types. Diba? Meron tayong ischemic stroke and hemorrhagic stroke. Pag sinabi nating ischemic, nagkaroon ng bara doon sa ugat ni patient. So, dahil nagbara yung ugat, nawala ng blood supply, nawala ng oxygen. So, mamamatay yung part ng brain kung saan nangyari yan. And pag bleeding naman, pumutok naman yung ugat. And if continuously magbi-bleed yung patient, di ba? So, ano mangyari? The blood will occupy yung space. Sabi natin, di ba, yung brain natin, ang nandyan lang dapat is minimal amount of cerebrospinal fluid. And so, pag nag-bleed yan, i-occupy space, tataas nga yung intracranial pressure. So, maapektuhan ulit yung function ng brain natin. So, dun ngayon malalaman kung anong part ng brain siya nagkaroon ng ischemic or bleeding, yun yung magiging presentation kay patient. Kung halimbawa, na-paralyze yung kalahati ng katawan, nabulol yung pasyente, diba? Ngumiwi yung pasyente. Yan. So, diyan po yung depende kung anong part ng brain yung nagkaroon ng ischemic stroke or hemorrhagic stroke. So, it uses narrow X-ray beam to scan the body parts on successive layers. So, sagittally, hinihiwa-hiwa yan. Pero, si CT scan, hindi lang po yan sa brain gamitin. So, any part of the body, pwede rin pong gawin si CT scan. Pero, pinaka-common, ginagamit po yan for brain natin. Diba? Next, MRI or magnetic resonance imaging. Sabi, this test can identify cerebral abnormalities much clearer. So, ibig sabihin, mas high-end siya, mas malinaw siya compared to our CT scan. So, it does not involve ionizing radiation. So, kasi nga, gumagamit siya ng mataas na magnetic field. So, yun yung nagme-measure. Okay, does not use any contrast, di ba? So, uses powerful magnetic field to visualize yung body part. So, ganyan po. So, ito po yung MRI machine natin. So, ayan yung part na yan. So, ano yung mga tatandaan natin? Una, if your patient is for MRI and CT scan, so, check nyo muna, assess if your patient is claustrophobic. Kasi kung claustrophobic yan, di ba, ipapasok yan dyan sa machine na yan, nakahiga siya, di ba, baka mahirapan huminga yung pasyente. Ano pa, ang tatandaan, pag MRI naman, kasi since this is magnetic, so ang tandaan, bawal lahat ng
And this is why we keep metal objects very far away from the MRI machine. These things can get sucked into the machine and actually even kill a patient.
Yan. So kaya tandaan, pag MRI, bawal lahat ng metal. So tatanggalin lahat ng metal kay patient. So tingnan mo yan, di ba? Dumikit dun sa MRI machine. So kaya tandaan lahat ng metal, may implant ba yung pasyente? Kaya mahalaga po na chine-check po natin yung history. Diba kung nagka-surgery ba yung patient natin. Okay, next would be the positron emission tomography scan or yung PET scan. Sabi, a computer-based nuclear imaging technique that produces image of an actual organ functioning. So, ibig sabihin, na-assess nito yung function ng mismong brain or ng mismong organ. So, for this one, since topic natin is sa central nervous system, so yung brain function na-assess niya. And the patients either inhale a radioactive gas or injected with radioactive substance that emits positively charged particles. So, kailangan po kasi yan para makikita yung reaction during the scan. And sabi natin, this test allow measurement of the blood flow and brain metabolism and indirectly evaluated the brain function of your patient. Okay, next would be the cerebral angiography. So, yung cerebral angiography naman, this is a dye is used and injected in the vessel to visualize the obstruction in the blood supply of the brain. So, it's done by cardiac catheterization. So, ibig sabihin, may inject na dye, tapos i-x-ray sa patient, mag-glow up ngayon, nasan ba yung mga bara na yan. Okay, so let me show a video para makita nyo paano ba ginagawa yung cerebral angiography natin.
Cerebral angiography. Cerebral angiography is an invasive procedure that involves injecting a radio-opaque dye into the carotid or vertebral system through a catheter. The catheter is placed into the artery from the groin. Radiographs are taken during catheter placement for guiding the catheter through the artery and following dye injection to monitor movement of dye through the blood vessels of the brain.
So, ganyan po yung ginagawa or cerebral angiography. So, same lang din yan. Yung pasasanabing angiography, direct visualization po to find kung nasaan po yung occlusion or obstruction dun sa ugat ni patient. Next is myelogram. So, an x-ray of the spinal cord. Pero, gumagamit po to ng dye. So, yung dye, ini-inject mismo dun sa spinal cord. Tapos, i-x-ray si patient para mag-glow siya. So, ito naman po, paano siya ginagawa.
It's scary when you're dealing with your spine because there's been a couple of days I've been in a wheelchair just to move.
Seeking answers to her back pain, Linda came to CDI for a myelogram.
Dr. Hallis, nice to meet you.
Start thinking about your life as in a wheelchair forever. What's the things you can't do? I pick up my grandkids 5 days a week, and I won't be able to pick them up.
We see lots of patients with chronic back pain that can be sometimes a challenge diagnostically, and this can be an excellent tool to figure out exactly what the cause of the back pain is. We're going to take an x-ray of your back, and then we're going to mark the spot with a marker here.
The images from a myelogram give your surgeon a better idea of what's going on with your spine and spinal canal, so they can plan your surgery. But before your appointment, you should know what to expect.
The more you know, the more you're prepared.
Your radiologist will use an x-ray to guide an injection of contrast dye into your spinal canal. Once the dye is in, the x-ray helps the doctor confirm it is in the right spot. You will be tilted slightly, allowing the contrast to spread.
They tell you you're going to feel it, but nobody knows the sensation. Like, they say maybe it'll tingle, but sometimes it's cold.
Next, you'll be moved on a stretcher for more x-rays, which last 5 to 10 minutes.
And now we're going to rock up to your left side, okay?
Then you're moved to a CT scanner for 5 more minutes of imaging.
During the procedure, there is a significant amount of transferring from table to stretcher to x-ray table, back to stretcher, and then back to the CT scanner.
For 2 hours after the injection, you'll stay under nurse supervision to make sure you have no complications. For Linda, the results of the myelogram will help her make a choice about surgery.
It'll give me the answers like, is this worth it? If it's only 30%, maybe not. But maybe if there's like 50 to 60% that surgery will help, what a great tool to make that decision. You gotta have knowledge to make up your mind.
So, yan po ginagawa or paano ginagawa yung myelogram natin. Okay, so tanda lang po pag may mga contrast dye na ginagamit, so lagi po after the procedure, we encourage patient to increase fluid oral intake pag walang contraindication para ma-wash off, mailabas nila yung mga dye na in-inject sa kanila. Okay, next will be the electroencephalography or EEG. This is the most definitive diagnostic test to identify seizure disorder. So, Ayan po siya. So, may ikakabit na mga electrodes dun sa part ng brain ni patient. And then, nakakonect yun sa machine. So, ina-assess muna yung brain activity natin. So, there are different procedures na pwedeng steps na ginagawa dyan. Una, pwedeng gising muna yung pasyente and then titignan ano ba yung brain activity ng patient kapag gising siya. Then, pagtulog din, and also minsan may mga flashing lights, diba? So, kaya nga po, siya yung nag-check din ng seizure disorder. And sometimes, ginagamit din po yung EEG to identify if patient is already brain dead. So, yan po yung mga isa sa purpose din ng EEG natin. Next is the EMG or electromyography. Sabi, this test assess muscle function. Needle electrodes are inserted into the skeletal muscles to measure your electrical activity nung muscle. Ibig sabihin, yung pagtakbo or pag-conduct pa ng mga electrical activities para ma-move or gumalaw yung mga muscles natin. Well, the nerve conduction studies naman, sabi, the test is stimulating the nerves at a certain point to assess yung impulse conduction. So, ibig sabihin, magsisend ng a minimal amount of electricity dyan. Titingnan kung nagko-contract, gumagalaw. Ibig sabihin, kung gumagana pa ba yung nerves natin do sa certain parts ng katawan natin. Okay, so para mas maintindihan nyo po ulit, ma-visualize nyo, ito po.
Nerves use electrical impulses to coordinate muscle movement in our bodies. Diseases affecting the muscles and nerves can result in abnormal electrical activity. Electromyography, EMG, and nerve conduction studies are diagnostic tests used to detect nerve and muscle disorders and to evaluate the functioning of your nerves and muscles. An EMG is designed to record the electrical activity produced by the muscles during rest and contraction. Nerve conduction studies measure the conductivity of the nerves. Your doctor may arrive at a diagnosis based on the results of the EMG, along with information from your medical history, physical and neurological examinations, and results from other tests. Indications. EMG testing can be used for the diagnosis of a variety of disorders that damage muscle tissue, nerves, or the junctions between nerve and muscles. An EMG can also be used to evaluate the cause of weakness, paralysis, and muscle twitching. Nerve conduction studies, NCS, are used to detect damage or injury to the peripheral nervous system, PNS, which consists of the extracranial nerves and spinal cord. This test can be used to diagnose neurological disorders and disorders such as carpal tunnel syndrome. Prior to the procedure, you will be instructed not to use lotion on your skin prior to the procedure. Please take all your usual medications on the day of the procedure. Procedure. Electromyography is performed by an EMG technologist or a doctor. It may be conducted in a doctor's office, hospital, or clinic. During the test, you will be asked to lie down on a table or bed so that the muscles being tested are relaxed. Electromyography. An EMG normally takes about 20 to 40 minutes. A needle electrode is inserted into the muscle, connected by wires to a recording machine. You may feel a quick, sharp pain during the insertion of the electrode. The doctor then records your readings with the muscle at rest and under contraction. The needle electrode may be moved several times to record the electrical activity in different areas of the muscle. On the computer screen, the electrical activity may be depicted as wavy and spiky lines. Electrical impulses may also be monitored through a speaker in which the electrical signals are denoted by a popping sound or monitored on video. After the test, the needle electrode is removed. nerve conduction studies. A nerve conduction study usually takes about 15 to 30 minutes, depending on the number of areas to be studied. Often, nerve conduction studies are done before an electromyography, EMG. This test is usually done with several electrodes that are placed on the skin with paste and tape. Your doctor places a shock-emitting electrode directly over the nerve to be studied and a recording electrode over the muscles supplied by that nerve. Small and brief electrical impulses are generated to stimulate the nerves. The time taken for the muscle to contract in response to the pulse is then recorded. The speed of transmission of the impulse is called nerve conduction velocity. To compare the conduction velocity, the corresponding nerves on the other side of the body may be studied. After the test, the electrodes are removed. Risks: some soreness and a tingling sensation may persist for 1 to 2 hours after electromyography. In nerve conduction study, the chance of any risks or complications is minimal, as the amount of electricity that is transmitted is very small. You may experience a brief burning pain, a tingling sensation, and a twitching of the muscle during the transmission of the electrical impulses. Certain factors or conditions may interfere with the test results. These tests are usually avoided in individuals with swelling, bleeding, or obesity. Electromyography, EMG, and nerve conduction studies are diagnostic tests used to detect nerve and muscle disorders. Nerve conduction studies, NCS, are used to detect damage or injury to the peripheral nervous system, PNS. While EMG can be used for the diagnosis of a variety of disorders that damage muscle tissue, nerves, or the junction between nerve and muscle.
Okay, so ganyan po ginagawa yung EMG at nerve conduction study natin. Okay, right? So next naman, test is your lumbar puncture. So this test is stimulating the nerves at certain point to assess impulse conduction, and kumukuha po kasi tayo dyan ng sample, yung CSF natin or the cerebrospinal fluid. So sinesend po yan for analysis, diba? So para makita. So kaya siya tinawag na lumbar puncture kasi dun sa lumbar area po kumukuha. So not done if the patient is mayroong increased ICP. So bawal yan. Kasi nga siyempre mataas na nga yung intracranial pressure tapos mag-aspirate ka pa. Okay, so the patient could be on a fetal position or side-lying position na naka-curve, kaya fetal position. Kapag hindi kaya, pwede pong papaupo yung pasyente pero nakatalong ko. So this is also same, nan din po nagbibigay ng spinal anesthesia yung ating anesthesiologist kapag sa OR natin. Okay, so ito po yung mga itsura or comparative result when it comes to mga tests na yan. So this is the CT scan, diba? Plain lang siya. MRI, diba? Kita mo mas visualize. And PET scan, kasi nga nakikita yung brain activity. So ibig sabihin nagbabago yung kulay niya kapag merong ginagawa yung patient. Angiography, ayan, para makita yung mga ugat-ugat, diba? Myelogram, EEG, EMG, and lumbar puncture. So ito po yung analysis ng CSF ni patient. Alright, may question po ba with regards to diagnostic procedures natin? Wala? Sure. Sige. So kung wala, let's now move with the first problem or problem natin with central nervous system. So the first is what we call the spinal cord injury. So ibig sabihin, nagkaroon ng problem dun sa spinal cord. So, di ba sabi natin kanina, di ba yung spinal cord nagsisend dyan ng mga signals. Di ba? Responsible kung paano tayo nagkakaroon ng sensory or motor movements natin. So, sabi natin, in spinal cord injury involves damage to any part of your spinal cord from cervical, thoracic, lumbar, hanggang coccygeal nerve bone natin kasama po dyan. Traumatic damage of spinal cord or nerves at the end of the spinal cord. So, ayan po. This will affect the conduction of sensory and motor signals across the site of lesion. Diba sabi ko nga, depende kung saang part ng spinal cord yung affected. So, yun yung makikita natin na problem kay patient. So, yun yung lalabas na manifestation. Okay, so in spinal cord injury, there are two categories. We have the primary and secondary. Pag sinabi natin primary, it is a permanent damage. So, ibig sabihin, irreversible na siya. So, nandun na lang siya. While in secondary, it could be, nerve fibers swell and disintegrate as a result of ischemia, hypoxia, edema, or hemorrhagic lesion. So, ibig sabihin, namaga yung nerve fiber kasi it's either nagkulang ng oxygen, di ba? Ischemia or hypoxia, namaga, di ba? Nagkaroon ng pressure, nagkaroon ng swelling, or may bleed ba na nangyari dyan. And kapag na-identify siya agad within 4 to 6 hours mula doon sa injury, pwede pong maibalik sa normal. Pero pag napabayaan, it will become permanent damage na po yan kay patient. Okay? So, also in spinal cord, we have types. We have incomplete or complete lesion. Pag sinabi natin incomplete, not all nerves are severe and the nerves are only slightly damaged. So, konti lang yung sira. So, pwedeng makapag-recover pa yung patient. But, the nerve to the pre-injury level. So, ibig sabihin, hindi na dun sa normal niya. Pero, ibig sabihin, halimbawa, nabawasan yung movement, di ba? Yung sensation, yun yung pwedeng mangyari. So, it could be classified according to the area, pwedeng central, lateral, anterior, or peripheral, dun sa spinal cord ba siya nagkaroon ng problem. While the complete lesion, sabi na, the nerve are severed and there is no motor or sensory function preserved at this point. So, ibig sabihin, hindi na nakakagalaw, wala ng pakiramdam. Diba? Kaya tinatawag natin paraplegia or na-paralyze na yung patient natin. Okay? So, pag sinabi natin paraplegia, paralysis that affects your legs. Ibig sabihin, lower extremities lang. Pero pag tetraplegia, paralysis below the neck that affects all the limbs. So, isa buong katawan. Eh, sabi ko nga kanina, it will depend on your part of the spinal cord kung ano yung magiging paralysis ni patient. So, kapag cervical, ayan, cervical tetraplegia. Ayan. Pag naman thoracic, di ba? T6 or thoracic 6 na. So, paraplegia hanggang lumbar. So, di ba kaya kapag nag-spinal anesthesia, di ba dito siya binibigay sa thoracic. So, kaya walang pakiramdam yung patient dito sa pababa na yan. Kaya pwede siya magkaroon ng abdominal surgery. Pero pag nasa upper part yung operahan, di ba? GA tayo. Ayan. So, hindi man pwede mag-cervical mag-cervical anesthesia. Baka hindi din huminga yung patient natin. Okay? So, kaya ingatan mabuti. Especially, lalo na yung mga nag-motor po. Diba? Ingat po. Mabuti kayo dyan. Okay? So, ayan nga. So, the causes are motor vehicle crashes, falls, violence, ayun, yung pagbubugan, ayun, yung pagbarilan. Recreational sports, diba? Yung mga combative sports. Pwede rin po yan. Yung mga motocross, ayan, yung mga nagdi-drifting, di ba? Or pwede due to substance abuse, ayan, so pag-addict, pwede rin po makuha yan. So, most commonly affected are your C5, C6, C7, T12 hanggang L1. So, dyan po kadalasan na yan. So, paano ba makuha yan? Pwedeng to concussion, contusion, laceration, pwede rin compression, di ba? Kaya yung mga mahilig magpatunog-tunog dyan, di ba? Ingat po, kasi pag namali kayo ng pagpapatunog dyan, di ba? Uso yung ginaganong-ganon yung leg, yung pinabali-bali. No? Transection, so pwede pong mag-cause ng damage sa spinal cord po ninyo. Yan. Kaya mag-iingat po mabuti. Okay? So, manifestation. Sabi nga natin, it will depend. Diba? It depend kung anong type, diba? Kung complete or incomplete. Diba? Depende rin kung nasa ang part ng cord yung injury natin. Diba? So, total sensory and motor paralysis below the neurologic level. Diba? Pagpababa. Loss of bladder and bowel control. Diba? Kasi nga, diba, pag kasama yun sa ina-assess or sinasenda ng signal. So, pwede magkaroon ng urinary retention and bladder distension yung patient. So, hindi umiihi. Hindi nalalabas yung ihi. Loss of sweating or vasomotor tone. So, hindi na pinagpapawisan kasi nga, wala na sensation. Okay, marked reduction of blood pressure from loss of peripheral vascular resistance. So, bumabagsak din yung BP. And if conscious si patient, sabi, report acute pain in the back or the neck. So, patient may speak of fear that neck and vein is broken. So, pag gising siya, sobrang sakit nararamdaman niya dun sa likod. Okay? It could also affect, pag-cause ng acute respiratory failure, which is yan na kadalasan ikinamamatay ng mga patient na nagkakaroon ng spinal cord injury. Kasi nga, pag naapektuhan na yung respiration, di ba, paano hihinga yung pasyente? Di ba? So, kadalasan yan, kapag cervical cord injury. So, kasama po yung breathing ang naaapektuhan sa kanya. Okay, assessment and diagnostic. So, we can do X-ray examination, lateral, cervical, spine X-rays, diba? CT scan, MRI, or ECG. So, ECG naman to assess yung heart ni patient. Diba? Kung nagbabrady, o ayan, asystole na pala. Diba? Wala na, hindi na tumibok yung puso ng pasyente. Okay? So, complication, sabi natin, spinal shock. So, when we say spinal shock, sabi, this refers to spinal cord impairment below the injury. Ibig sabihin, yung spinal cord, halimbawa, na-injured dito sa part na yan. So, below that spinal cord, lahat ng part na yun, hindi na siya gagana. Kasi nga, yung, kumbaga, nakat na yung supply. Di ba, nakat na yung daanan. Di ba? So, kaya patient could have paralysis, loss of reflex, anal sphincter tone, bowel and bladder control, as well as, ayan, persistent erectile dysfunction. So, kaya mapapansin nyo, pag spinal cord injury, merong piaprasia. Kung matigas, nakatayo lang yung penis ng patient. Diba? Kasi nga, wala nang control. Diba? So, yan yung mga common na nakikita natin kay patient na merong spinal cord injury or spinal shock. Okay, and pala, the muscles innervated by the parts of the cord segment situated below the level of the lesion become completely paralyzed and flaccid. And reflexes are absent. So, wala nang pakiramdam. Basta lahat lower, di ba? Kumpara or tetraplegia. Yan. So, BP and heart rate falls as vital organs are affected also. Kaya bumabagba yung BP tsaka heart rate na nung patient natin. Okay, so what will be the emergency management? Ano ba, nakakita kayo nang nagkaroon ng vehicular accident. Diba? Nabuwal sa motor. Diba? Sabi, na, ayan, nagkaroon yung nag-dive, pero mali bagsak. Diba? Yan, direct trauma, head, yan. So, ano yung gagawin? Diba? Kumbaga, ang unang goal natin is, diba, kaya diba, uso sa atin sa Pilipinas, ay, huwag gagalawin. Diba? Pero kung maalam ka, pwede mo siyang galawin. Pero anong gagawin mo? Kailangan mabilis ang assessment tapos immobilize the patient. Ibig sabihin, kailangan immobilize yung una-una yung head, yung cervical area. Kaya dapat maging intact. Kung may cervical collar, lalagyan agad si patient. Pag wala, strengthen yung katawan ng patient, i-hold mo yung ulo niya so dapat galawin. So, kaya pag bubuhatin yung patient, dapat naka-spine board. Hindi pwede yung bubuhatin mo lang nakala mo ka, pupunta sa, pupunta ka sa honeymoon ninyo. Hindi po ganun. Okay? Extrication, stabilization or control of life-threatening injuries, and transportation to an appropriate facility. So, tandaan, kailangan naka-straight. So, kaya meron dati kaming patient na ganyan. during the travel, kasi walang available na cervical collar. So, yung nurse, hawak lang niya yung leeg ng pasyente, yung ulo ng pasyente. So, bawal gumalaw-galaw na gano'n yung ulo ng pasyente. Okay? So, ano pa daw? Ayan, maintain in extended position. So, nakahiga, diretso yung pasyente. Bawal paupuin. No body part should be twisted or turned. So, kaya dapat diretso lang po. Okay? Refer patient to a regional spinal injury center or trauma center for treatment on the first 24 hours. So, dito sa atin sa Nueva Ecija, ano yun ang trauma center? PJG is a trauma center po dito. Okay? So, management. Sabi natin, paano para ma-manage yung mga complication? Intestinal decompression. So, to treat bowel distension and paralytic ileus caused by depression reflex. Diba? So, kailangan, yun. So, hindi mo nakakain yung pasyente. Diba? Early detection of fever. Ayan. So, pag mga spinal cord injury or brain injury, ayaw na natin magkakalagnat. Kasi lalo mag-increase yung brain activity, so magpa-further damage po yan. Okay? Maintain body support. Diba? Saya nga sabi ko, lagyan ng cervical collar. Diba? Chest physiotherapy and suctioning. So, ingat din po sa pagsasaction. Gentle lang dapat. So, chest physio, diba? Para matanggal yung mga secretions. Diba? CPT natin. So, observe for development of deep vein thrombosis. Diba? Yung nagkakaroon ng mga bara dun sa ugat. Kasi nga, hindi na naigagalaw ni patient. So, ibig sabihin, yung blood flow is impaired. So, pwede maging stagnant yung blood doon. And pwede magbuo-buo, magkaklat dyan. Diba? So, complication of mobility by paralytic chest pain, anxiety, shortness of breath, or abnormal blood gas value. So, ano gagawin? So, patient could be given ng low-dose anticoagulant. Diba? Heparin, pag oral, diba, we have your warfarin. Pwede rin po yung mga low molecular weight heparin like enoxaparin. Yan. Anti-embolic stockings. Ayan, pwedeng lagyan si patient. Or, ayan, permanent indwelling filter. Kasi nga, nahihirap para makuha yung mga bara-bara. Diba kasi yung deep vein thrombosis, yung mga bar na yan, kapag na-dislodge yan, pwede mapunta yan sa heart or sa lungs or sa brain. Diba? Pwedeng yun yung ikamatay ni patient natin. Okay? Monitoring or autonomic hyperreflexia. Potentially life-threatening syndrome involving an abnormal overreaction of autonomic nerves. So, kaya dapat chill lang. Relax dapat yung patient. Bawal sa mga masyadong high stimulus. Diba? So, dapat tahimik. Okay? So, surveillance for pressure ulcer and infection. So, diba, straighten. So, pwede naman pong i-turn yung patient, pero hindi pwedeng nakabaluktot. So, dapat diretso. So, assess kung nagkakaroon na ba ng bed sore. So, kaya po dapat, para ma-prevent, turn patient every 2 hours. So, ang unang check nyo lagi, sa sacral area, dun lagi nagkakaroon ng pressure sore. Or basta yung mga bony prominences, dun yan natin check. Diba? Tsaka kung may mga infections. Okay, may question po ba with spinal cord injury? Wala? Kasama pa ako? Okay, meron pa. So, next is the increase intracranial pressure. So, sabi natin, di ba, may pressure inside our brain or do sa skull. Pero dapat, hindi sobrang taas. Kasi kapag sobrang taas ng pressure dyan, what will happen? Di ba, pwedeng magkaroon ng shifting nung placement ng ating brain. Yung tissue ng brain. Ibig sabihin, pwedeng magkaroon ng herniation, di ba, pwedeng mag-bleed. So, kagaya ito, di ba, tingnan mo, ito may bleed. So, ibig sabihin, nag-occupy yung blood ng additional space dun sa brain. So, tataas yung pressure. So, makukompress yung brain ni patient. So, ayan, yung mga lesion. Diba, dapat padiretso ito. Yung part na yan. Diba? So, sabi natin, the pressure exerted by the cranial contents against the skull. So, what you call your intracranial pressure. And the normal is 10 to 20 millimeter mercury. So, affects blood flow to the brain. It may impair its function and cause herniation eventually or eventually death. So, kaya hindi pwedeng sobrang taas ng pressure. Pag sinabi nating herniation, so, ito po yun, di ba? Yung nagkakaroon ng, nag-iiba yung mismong part ng brain, apektuhan na siya. So, how will we measure the intracranial pressure? So, it is an invasive procedure done by the doctor. So, may kakabit po na machine. Pero sa atin, as a nurse, ano yung trabaho natin? Know the cause of intracranial pressure and identify the signs and symptoms na merong increased ICP that I will be discuss later. Ano ba yung makikita kay patient kapag merong increased intracranial pressure? So, sa atin, sabi, this affect the cerebral perfusion pressure which reflects the blood flow. So, kaya dapat alam natin yung CPP or the cerebral perfusion pressure. So, how will we get that? MAP minus the ICP. So, si ICP, si doktor ang kukuha. O, di ba may kinakabit dyan. Si MAP, si nurse or the mean arterial pressure. So, formula for mean arterial pressure, systolic BP plus diastolic BP, 2 times ng diastolic BP divided by 3. So, that would be the MAP. Then, ima-minus, so, dapat ang normal limit lang niya, 60 to 80. So, pag mataas yun, it's a problem dun sa patient natin. So, what are the causes of increased intracranial pressure? Ayan. Yung increased brain tissue, brain tumor, increased CSF, or ruptured blood vessels. Basta anything that occupy additional space dun sa inside our skull, di ba, makokompress yung brain, di ba, nag-bleed, may tumor, yan. So, yan po yung mga pwedeng mangyari. So, mabrang dumami yung CSF ni patient, yung cerebrospinal fluid, yan. So, ano ngayon mga manifestations? So, sabi natin, there will be changes in level of consciousness ni patient. Di ba? So, kaya, di ba, kasi brain na yan. Di ba? So, ano daw? Sa eyes, pwedeng merong pupil edema, pupillary changes, or impaired eye movement. Di ba? So, ibig sabihin, di ba, pag check mo, namamanas yung mata ni patient. Okay, yung pupils is sluggish, mabagal yung pag-dilate and constrict and dilate, pwedeng pinpoint or pwedeng anisocoric yung pupils ni patient. Ibig sabihin, hindi pantay. Di ba? O, headache, syempre meron yan, nagko-compress yung brain eh. Di ba? Seizure. So, pwede po seizure yung patient because of the impaired sensory and motor functions. Okay? Posturing. Ayan, nagkakaroon de-decerebrate or decorticate yung pasyente. Diba? Yung decerebrate, papasok, decerebrate pa, labas. Or placid. Ibig sabihin, no response. Okay? Changes in vital signs. So, we have the Cushing triad which increase yung systolic blood pressure ni patient pero mababa yung pulse ng patient. Plus altered yung respiratory pattern. So, ibig sabihin, yung breathing niya is abnormal yung breathing ni patient. Okay? Patient is nagsusuka. Diba? There is vomiting. Actually, projectile vomiting. So, pag sumuka siya, sobrang layo nung talsik. Diba? Parang nung naglasing ka, diba, na pinipigilan mong hindi masuka, pero nung lumabas, bumubulwak yung suka. Okay? There will be changes in speech. Diba? Is a bulbulol, or hindi na makapagsalita yung pasyente, pwede rin po yan. Okay? Decreased motor functions. Ibig sabihin yung movement ni patient is affected din. Or in infants, ito tandaan sa mga bata, bulging fontanelle. Yung bunbunan, di ba, bumubukol yung bunbunan nung infant, nung baby. Di ba? Cranial suture separation. Di ba? Kapag bata pa, baby pa, di ba, yung mga sutures o yung mga dugtungan ng skull natin, hindi pa siya fully nagdidikit. So, dito nagkakaroon ng space kasi nga tumataas yung pressure. So, kaya lumalaki yung head circumference ni baby. And ano daw? High pitch cry. So, ang taas, di ba, nung iyak ng patient. So, hindi po mataas yung boses ng bata. Ano ba? Sabi, ay, singer ata yung anak ko. Hindi po ganun. Diba? So, kaya dapat ma-identify natin ano yung normal cry sa high pitch cry. Yan. Okay? So, in clinical manifestation, tandaan, earliest sign is alteration in level of consciousness. And late sign is yung Cushing triad, increase systolic BP, decrease heart rate, and abnormal respiration. So, assessment. So, ayan. So, yung GCS natin. Marunong na mag-GCS. Marunong po mag-GCS. Marunong, di ba? Naturo ko na yan, di ba? So, tandaan, ayan. So, para alam natin. So, pag sabing GCS, di ba? Eye opening, verbal response, and motor function. So, hindi ko na po ba isa-isahin? Isa-isahin pa? Hindi na. Okay. Alam na. Sige. So, tandaan, for eyes, we have maximum of 4. Lowest score is 1. Diba? For verbal, maximum 5. Lowest score is 1. And motor is 1. So, highest score is 15. Lowest is 3. Okay? And meron tayong dinagdag. Ito yung GCSP. So, ito lang po sinama po dyan yung pupil reaction. Sabi dito, summarizes information about loss of pupil activities. Ibig sabihin, kung nagdadilate or nagko-constrict yung pupils ni patient. Diba? Ibig sabihin yung nag-move. Diba? Pag nag-introduce ka ng light, diba? Using your pen light. Diba? So, the pupil should constrict or dilate yan dapat. Yan. So, i-assess mo yan kung fully dilated ba yung pupils, sluggish ba? Diba? Hindi ba pantay o pantay yung eyes ni patient. Okay? Ito, Monroe-Kelly hypothesis. Ano daw sabi ni Monroe? Sabi natin, the normal CSF is 150 ml. And, yung hatian niya, the 75 ml is in the brain and 75 ml is nandun sa spinal cord. So, anong gagawin ngayon ng brain kapag merong increased intracranial pressure? The first compensatory mechanism with ano daw? The CSF shift from brain to spinal cord. Since tumataas yung pressure dun sa inside the brain of the patient or inside the skull, pupunta daw dun yung CSF para makabawas sa pressure, makabawas sa space, pupunta dun sa spinal cord. First, compensatory mechanism. And second compensatory mechanism daw, decreased blood volume in the brain, unoxygenated blood goes to the heart instead of staying do sa cranium. So, babawasan yung blood volume. Kasi nga, para ma-decompress, kasi kung increase yung blood flow, increase yung CSF, tas increase pa yung pressure, lalong makukompress yung brain ni patient. Okay? Kaya pwede magkaroon ng Cushing triad. That's why, increase yung blood pressure, pero decrease yung heart rate ni patient, tsaka yung RR. Okay? Brain herniation compresses the cardiovascular and respiratory center, kaya nagde-decorticate or decerebrate yung patient. Pupils are unequal or unreactive. So, ito po siya, decorticate, di ba? Papasok, di ba? Abnormal flexion, decerebrate, abnormal extension. So, ito po yung tinatawag natin, anisocoric pupil. So, tingnan mo siya, hindi magkamukha yung size ng pupils niya. Diba? Mas malaki yung isa compared dun sa isa. Ibig sabihin, isa po yan sa mga problem or possible or sign that patient have increased intracranial pressure or meron ng brain herniation yung patient natin. Okay? Management. Yan. So, ano gagawin? Elevate the head of bed 30 to 40 degrees. So, bawal silang i-flat. So, bakit naka-elevate? Bakit naka-semi-powders? Para yung pressure dun sa brain mabawasan. Okay? So, administer oxygen. Diba? To help. Kasi nga, di ba, nag-problem dun sa respiration din ni patient. So, ayaw natin na bumagsak yung oxygen. So, reduce brain metabolism by avoiding na mag-fever yung patient. That's why, kailangan nasa cold or cold, malamig na room si patient. So, kami na natin, yung patient namin, ginagawa namin, nilalagyan ng yung gloves, lagyan namin ng water, nilalagay sa freezer, tapos pag malamig na or nagyayelo na, lalagay dun sa kilikili ni patient para hindi siya lagnatin. Okay? So, ano ba daw? Decrease cerebral edema. So, we will give mannitol, diba? Ito po yung para umihi patient, ma-decrease yung pressure dun sa brain. And hydrocortisone, para naman sa swelling, di ba? Anti-inflammatory ang ating hydrocortisone. And managing the cause of increased ICP. So, kung ano yung problem, bakit pa tumaas, yan po yung mga ima-manage kay patient natin. Alright, may question po ba? May clarification? All good? All good. So, kung wala nang question, so thank you so much for listening. Sabi, tandaan, there is hope even when your brain tells you there isn't. Ayan. So, wala, hanggat may buhay, may pag-asa. Kaya po yung mga medyo mababa yung score, huwag mawawalan ng pag-asa. Mag-aral lang mabuti, paganahin lang po yung brains natin. So, kayang-kaya po ninyo yan. Okay, so maraming salamat po for listening